A story of perseverance and hard work, dedication to the arts. One of Ghana's finest filmmakers. Over 26 years of work experience in advertising and marketing. Oh yeah, he's done extensive work in the industry, and you probably have been a big fan of some of his works. He likes to be behind the scenes, but today, the man behind the scenes is on the scene. Yeah. Before I even tell you who it is in my seat today, I want you to listen to this song and probably it will give you an idea.
Drive Time on Joy with Lexus Bill. Radio Joy 99.7. Super Hits Radio Joy 99.7. Super Hits Radio Joy 99.7.
To arguably one of the biggest TV series we've ever had in Ghana, and it's still, I still remember like scenes, casts in that series. Oh boy, storylines. It gives birth to amazing actors like Ajete Anand, Majid Michel. You name it, the list goes on and on. Yeah. Jackie Appiah. Things We Do for Love. It was on TV years ago, produced by Farmhouse. Now you enjoy YOLO, don't you? Yeah, that's the in thing now. Everybody loves YOLO. You only live once. Well, today I spent time with the one and only Ivan Quash. He calls himself the Chief Ideas Farmer at Farmhouse Productions. Look, this man is a legend. Help me welcome to our Hall of Fame, Ivan Quash on Joy 99.7 FM. Oh, and I like the smile on your face, Ivan. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
And you're most welcome.
In fact, I'm very...
You're very well said.
You know, those of us who are always behind the scenes. And now we feel when we are put on the spot.
I know. So now you know how it is like when you're directing people and you're telling them.
Yeah, I know how to tell them what to do, but I don't know how to do it myself.
I remember, when did I shoot with you at Labadi Beach sometime? With
Yes.
Some program, like, was it a challenge?
I think so. A long time ago.
Some project like that. Yeah. And you're directing us and whatnot. Oh man, that was good. Well, good to have you here on the show today. How are you doing?
Thank you very much.
I'm totally excited about this because I hear this is the first time ever you're having a full personality interview.
Yeah, especially live on air. I really don't like live on air.
Oh my goodness, I'm in such a good position right now. I'm so happy.
I am so vulnerable.
But congratulations, man. You've done amazing for Ghana. Things We Do for Love, YOLO. Just a few of the things that you've done. I'm sure along the line we'll get to know more of the things that you've done for Ghana. But hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm still in the business. You know, still waking up and thinking ideas. Yeah.
Wow.
So
for 26 good years.
Yeah, I actually spent 13 years Lintas.
Okay.
Which is now Marlin Law. And I think I was trained by some of the very best in advertising and marketing. The late Jake Obechebi Lamte, Mrs. Nokodia, and Barbara Davis, and all these guys, great guys that I really had to learn from. And so that's 13 years then. And during that time, I was in copy department. I was also a producer. Then along the line, turned the production department into a company called Advantage Productions. So it was during Advantage Productions, whilst at Advantage Productions, that we produce Things We Do for Love.
Things We Do for Love.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm sure it goes down in history as one of the things you're proudest of, doesn't it?
There's still a lot of things I have to do. So,
well, but so far, we can say
I'm happy people like it. I'm
made
happy
a
people
mark.
still talk about it, and it was difficult to produce it. And so those weekends and weekday nights that we used to work, I think that it wasn't in vain.
I would want to know the story of Things We Do for Love from the very beginning, because I know it had a bit of radio element in there.
Yeah.
But look, it became big. It was a national phenomenon. I mean, everybody talked about it, and interestingly, most of the players in there are all big players in the movie industry now. You can talk about Majid Michel, Ajete Annan, Jackie Appiah. Tell us about how the concept came about.
Well, a long time ago, I mean, at that time, we had the Ghana Social Marketing Foundation had launched Protector, Secure, and all those contraceptives. Okay. And, before then, they were not actually marketing such products like the everyday products and services that are marketed and advertised and promoted like before. So it shocked a few people when they saw Protector condom adverts on TV. And so people started writing in the newspapers and asking that such ads should be pulled off. And I remember those days were the GBC autonomy. So once they pull your ad, that's it. There's nowhere else you're going to play your ad. So those ads were stopped at a point. And so we thought that...
So what people were uncomfortable seeing...
Yeah, it was a bit... They
ads.
felt that children were asking, Mommy, buy me condom and things like that. Well, we thought of coming up with a radio drama serial, that a radio talk show.
Okay.
That would, engage the young people on adolescent reproductive health issues. And so we came up with Speakeasy and recorded it at Nafti Studios.
That was supposed to be a radio talk show?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so when we recorded it, we took it to... Again, GBC, and it was rejected.
It was rejected?
And left on the table. So we left it.
Do you know why they rejected it?
Because it was, nobody could understand why young people were talking about sex and, all these issues that have confronted young people in terms of adolescent reproductive health at the time. So what happened was we left it on the shelves for a long time. I traveled, went on training attachment, came back, and then my girlfriend, picked me up from the airport and told me, now she's my wife, and so we were dating then, and then she told me there's a new radio station called Joy FM.
Oh, wait. That sounds familiar. Is it this one?
Joy, yes. 99.7 FM.
So, you're serious.
So
that's around circa
around
1995.
Yeah, thereabout. So, yeah. So what happened was that I listened to it. I thought it was interesting. And then Max Ansan, then he was the business development manager then.
Okay.
Engaged myself, Charles Van Dyke,
right?
Dan Kemmer, the late Dan Kemmer, at I think it's Paloma.
Yeah.
Then it was the place everybody went. So we met there for dinner, and then they wanted, if we had programs, whatever ideas that we had, to make the station more interesting. So we said, why we have got something like this here. Would you like to listen? And then they came back and said, yeah, we love it. Can you do it?
Wow.
Yeah. So then, so
it actually started from Joy FM.
Yes. So what happened was it was hosted by Kweku Boafajiman. I'm sure you know that guy, Pacheco. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he was hosting it, and then along the line, clients wanted us to have a drama component within the show.
Okay.
So we came up with Things We Do for Love, and we produced, and I was thinking that, I listened to radio plays, and most of the times it was just people talk, like doing their lines, and so. But I thought that I could do something more exciting, like give the audience, radio audience, a visual impression of what actually is going on, even though it is in sound. So we added sound effects, cars moving, footsteps, doors slamming, and all those things that would make the drama serial more believable and more real. So in that space, we blew people's minds, and immediately they started calling that, hey, why don't we see it? Now they wanted to see it.
Now they wanted
to see it. Yeah,
the visuals.
Yeah. So again, we had some kind of challenges in terms of producing it. There were the budget was for radio. So really, TV budget wasn't there. So we had to find a creative way of doing that, and I offered to produce Frighter Women's Digest, which we were doing then. My office was doing. I think they were using about 2 to 3 days to produce one episode, and I said I was going to produce it for a day, within a day, so I can save the other 2 days to use to shoot Things We Do for Love.
Wow.
So we did it on the quiet in the office, and then we edited it, and then on a staff deba, we decided to show it. So I just told then Jake, after his speech and all that, we fixed the TV sets, and we said we had something to show. And then if they have 5 minutes to watch it, the 5 minutes turned into 30 minutes. They watched it, they were so happy, they were laughing. And then after that, they said, where's episode 2? So
you don't even know how we came up with episode 1.
So that's how. And then we presented it to clients, and the same reaction, and then the rest
and that was it.
It's history.
Amazing. What a story.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody would have thought that this came out of a big budget, and it was really scripted before and whatnot, but he had to put it together against the odds, actually.
Yeah. I remember the time that we wanted to do that. We pitched the idea to a couple of people, because I was writing copy, producing, and all that. So I had to find a script writer. And in these situations, you were looking for the names. So I approached people that had done a lot, but they all turned down the idea.
Wow.
So I remembered my dad had sent some young men to me that they had a script they wanted to produce. In fact, I read the script. I wasn't really enthused about it. But each time I tell them what I didn't like about it, it was handwritten script. So each time I tell them I don't like this or that and that in it, these boys would go and come back the next day, like 30 pages, all rewritten, handwritten.
Wow.
They would redo it, do all the corrections. Then I would see some other things and ask them to go and change it. So along the line, we did not end up producing what they wanted to do. And I remembered the guy, and I felt that if anybody would do this, it has to be that boy.
Be him.
So I went to look for him. I didn't know his house. I had to call people, and then they found him for me. And that is Eddie Sedo Jr.
Wow.
So I gave him a desk in my office, even though he was not a staff. Said, sit here and write this, do this. This is how we want it, and all that. And then we kept coaching him and all till we finished Things We Do for Love.
Oh my goodness! How many episodes?
We did, I think, 39 episodes.
Okay.
39 episodes, but it was repeated on TV several times.
Yeah.
So we showed it on GTV. Then we moved it to TV3, and that's where it blew up.
Yeah.
And then, everybody wanted to watch it then.
And how did you come by these actors, the Ajete Anands and Majid Michels? They literally didn't have much of an acting experience.
No. You see, the thing about working in the advertising industry is that when we were creating TV commercials and all that, most often we worked with people who were not trained actors.
Yeah.
Because we look for the faces. We want to find people that had the presence and all that. So I sort of developed the knack for working with people who didn't really train as actors.
Okay.
So in terms of finding these people for Things We Do for Love, we were recording the radio already. So we already have the framework
Yeah.
there. And Ajeti Anand was already on the radio. He was brought. I got this guy, Wakefield Akwaku, to do producing for the radio for me, because I was also again very, very busy, but I was hands-on too at the same time. And so he brought Ajeti Anand to the plate, and then we found other people like the BBs, what's his name, Max, and all that. But the people that did the radio had very good voices.
Okay.
Yeah, but they cannot do TV.
They couldn't act.
They couldn't do TV. That's the secret. And so we had to cast new people. And so, TV is a visual thing. So you have to have that presence. You have to have certain looks and all that. So I had to do all the casting all over again. But some of the characters transitioned from radio to TV.
Okay.
So J.T. Anand was one of them. Max was one of them. I think BB. There was one BB first, and then there's the new BB that we had. And then Marsha too we had to find a new Marsha. That was beautiful, that everybody wanted and all that. So that's what we did, and then we had to give them crash course in acting.
I can imagine. Wow. The story of Things to Do for Love. Anyway, if you have any questions for Ivan, you can send us a message on 0244340437. You can also send us a tweet with the hashtag #DriveOnJoy. He's shaking his head because the TV cameras just popped into the studio.
What's going on?
Yes. The TV cameras just popped into the studio. I don't know why people who are behind the scenes are so nervous when they see cameras. Like, you put the cameras on people. You've been doing it for 26 years, Ivan.
I'll pretend the camera is not here.
Exactly.
That's what I tell them, but I can't do it myself.
I mean, you're very passionate about this, and it's you're actually from a family of the arts. We'll talk about that, but personally, growing up, do you think you were born to do this, or you had another passion and you kind of slipped into this?
When we were young, every child wanted to be an engineer, doctor, or lawyer, or those kind of things. So I also had that phase where I thought that those were the things that I wanted to do. And then, I was born in Keta, and I was born in a house that was next to the next house. There was just a fence between us. It was a cinema house called Croydon Cinema.
Okay.
And he had the cinema had gotten bent because they were using very highly inflammable celluloid formats those days. So when a film just catches fire and everybody will run away and all that. So there were situations. My mom them tell me about how people jumped into their house because there was fire in the cinema hall. So the film strips were in the projection room, and I used to go have a look and play with the strips when I was really, really, really young. Then across the road was another cinema house called Premier, which they are all not there now because of the sea erosion. But Premier was there, and then I was growing up, so we were like in class 6 or class 5, class 6, and so when they bring films like these Indian films and the Chinese films and the American films, they had these posters that they put on a board. Yeah. And then they were looking for people to carry the board around town. So we would volunteer to do that because at the end of the day,
you get to watch
it for free. And so when we finish watching it for free, then I would now make a box. I have a box with a transparent polythene in front of the box, and then I will do paper cuttings of the characters in the story, and I'll drop somebody on a horse and cut it out, stick it on a broomstick, and put a lantern in the box with my kids' the kids in the neighborhood, they have to pay to watch my film. so so they would pay. If your mom makes bofrot, you have to pay with bofrot. so we had bofrot, sugar cane, bread, all kinds of things. That people would pay granite, everything. And so they would come and watch, and it was very engaging because you'll be running commentary on it, and all. That is the closest I got to film.
Wow.
But the idea of becoming a film person was never
there
in my mind. I didn't even know that you have to put a camera on tripod because I've not seen it before.
Yeah.
The only thing we would see as moving images is when the cinemas come to Kita, and then they show the films.
Let's get to hear about your family and growing up. I mean, your father was the late Ranger Major Courage Kwashiga.
Yeah.
And that man served Ghana quite well in many capacities. One time Minister of Agric, Minister of Health, and in many other capacities as well. I actually more profoundly remember him for health because he was a very passionate fitness person. So that's actually one of the things that I admired about him. It was quite interesting as well when I found out that he was one time chief instructor at the Jungle Warfare School in Achase.
Yes.
So my team and I went there for some leadership training, and my goodness, hey!
He ate snakes.
Oh, the snakes and the things was amazing. May he so rest in peace. So tell me how life was like growing up with a military father like yours.
Well, I started the story. I was born in Kita. By the time I was growing up, my dad was already joining the army and was out. So I grew up in Kita with my cousins, and we were living with my aunties and all that, and went through school till Form 5, Kita Secondary School.
Okay.
Then I 19, the second coup d'etat. That was when my dad actually moved to Accra, and then we actually settled, and then so we were living at Airport Residential. Incidentally, next to our house down the road was Kwame Sefaka, and so we're really buddies from that time till now. Yeah, so it was fun. You asked about military background.
Yeah,
it was fun, but it was also quite stressful because I had a certain notion of childhood, like fun. We were having fun in Kita and all that. Now you have to be quite disciplined because you have to iron the shirts, right? You have to polish your boots and all those things. Yeah. So a lot of work was done.
Was he a strict disciplinarian?
Not really, no. But then he appreciates hard work, and he has a way of telling you off if you don't do it right. I remember when I could iron an army uniform for, let's say, about an hour in the night before, and then the next morning I'll do another 30 minutes before he wears it.
Of the same uniform?
Yeah, and then if there are some creases on it, he would throw it at you, and when you catch it, it becomes crumpled, and you have to start all over again. So, yeah, we had that, but I think it was really, really good for me because it made me and one of the things too was how he likes, he has these badges on the shirts, how he loves to, you have to measure it with a ruler to make sure that you don't, one is not higher than the other. They have to be lined up properly.
Wow.
And so for me, if you watch my work in film, I actually make sure where the characters must stand, how the composition must be, and all that. It's all from that training that, making sure that things are done to the best possible way. And if there's anything better than that, make sure you get that. No, don't just get...
Make do with just anything.
They say shower ya or something like that. Shoot and let's go. No, I don't like that. Yeah.
Wow. Did you at any point think you become a military man as well?
Yeah, some time ago I actually had because I was always having the uniforms and all that, and my dad was using 2 cars, and he had a lot of military arms in his car, so you have to move from one car to the next every time. And so I was always having these guns and all these things, moving them from this car to that car to that car.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought I could do well in the army, but I believe that my destiny drew me towards what I think God really wanted me to do. So yeah, I'm happy.
What's the most profound thing your father taught you, or what do you remember most about your father?
Oh wow. A lot of things. Some of them he tells me, and then some you'd observe. But then the most profound, I would say, is what I observe. We are. He has a large family. We are 10, 5 boys and 5 girls. But one of the things that he did that I really liked about him is that he made sure that you felt loved. That nobody feels more loved than the other.
Okay.
And then also when you tell him something that, oh daddy, my school they asked us to do this or that, and I need money to do this, or I want you to give me something for this. It could take 3 days, 4 days, and you would feel that he's forgotten with all the work that he was doing, running up and down, going to jungle warfare school and all that, But he would just call you, you asked me to do this for you, here it is. And for me, that is something, it's always touching when I know how busy he was, but he would make sure that he remembers to give you what you asked for. Really taught me a lot to be a really good dad.
You schooled at Keta, you mentioned earlier, Keta Secondary School. What did you study there?
In terms of the course I did, I did the arts.
You did arts?
I did arts,
okay.
Yeah. So I did literature and all that,
and then
GCO level.
and your scores?
It wasn't good. Maths was very bad. Maths was very, very bad.
What
I did well, but when you get 9 in maths, you get automatic 3. That's what you get. Yeah.
You got 9?
Yeah, in maths. Yeah, maths.
9,
the highest score.
That's the highest.
the highest.
9.
By 1 plus 9, 1 and 9, which one is higher?
So from Keta, where did you enroll again?
Then I went to Aquinas Secondary School. I did 6th form there, and I completed in 88. I was SP.
You were the school prefect.
Imagine?
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm sure you used to bully them with your military background as well.
Yeah, it was on.
Oh my goodness. Whoa. And then from there you proceeded to where?
Then I went to NAFTI.
Okay,
but the thing is that I didn't really know. I knew that I loved the arts, because when I finished Form 5, at a point I wandered into GBC, and they were doing this Best Brain, and somebody said, "Oh, you guys are the people." The audience, so to clap, so I wandered there, and then I sat among them, and my dad them saw me on TV. What were you doing there and all that? But I think that something was driving me to those things closer, and I was doing some poetry recitations, which I did on Builders of Today, which was hosted by Kweku Sechiado then. So I was always gravitating towards this the industry. But the turning point came when I met Mr. Atuyani. Mr. Atuyani is one of the foremost filmmakers Ghana produced. He wrote Genesis Chapter X, and then also directed His Majesty's Sergeant. And so he was married to my mom's sister, older sister. And so every time we went to visit, whilst the women were talking in somewhere, he would engage me, and he found out that I loved literature, and I've read almost all the books that he loved. So have you read this? I would say yes, and then we would discuss it and all that. So we started talking about films, and he found out that I was able to express myself in that. So he took me on set, and they were shooting the last show, which was, I think that was 1985. They were shooting the last show, produced by the late Mr. Alan Jima of Video City, the father of famous films.
Okay.
And over there, I saw Grace Omabo, I saw David Donto, I saw all these people, and they were like, I see them on TV, and these are all human beings and looking great. Wow. So, so, it was fun. So I realized that, no, I love this.
Yeah.
And the most important part was that he paid me. He gave me something, and I thought it was a lot of money. Then he was shooting some Star Beer commercial too. He took me along. Then I was sold.
Now you were sold, totally.
I said, no, I would have to be on this. I have to go. So the Star Beer commercial, they were editing at NAFTI. And so I decided to go with him. And we were in the studio, and I saw how the thing was pitched together, picture by picture. And I was also talking like, oh, why don't we add this? Why don't we do it? As if I'd already been trained in this thing. And the funny thing is that they listened to me. They took my suggestions too. So I said, wow, these guys are great, and this is what I want to be in and all that. So I started asking about how do I get into this school and all that. And that's how I came in.
That's how come you got into NAFTI.
Yeah.
And who were some of your mates back then?
Well, the current rector, Samuel Nai,
Okay.
is a mate of mine.
Okay.
Then the wife, Ivan Quash, my sister. She's also a mate. She did a lot of movies. I'm sure you've films that Juliet Ibrahim was. Is it Juliet Asante?
Asante, yes.
Was in. Were all directed by Ivan Quash, and one of the foremost female directors we have. And then Nanajua Window. Was also a mate of ours, and a host of very interesting people. There were also lots of foreign students. We had 2 Ethiopians, 1 Swazi, 1 South African, 2 Cameroonians, and a host of them.
And you didn't end there. You have an executive master's degree in governance and leadership. That's from Gimpo Graduate School.
Yes.
Some training in branding, advertising, copywriting from Nigeria, Zimbabwe, South Africa, United Kingdom. You actually went for the big shots.
Well, I was very fortunate to be working at Lintas, and that is like the university. When you are there, the training is almost like every year.
Yeah.
So over there, they believed in training people, and so I was fortunate to travel to all these places to learn copywriting, to learn production and all that, because they wanted excellence. We also trained here locally a lot, because sometimes they would bring people from outside to train us, and some of the best filmmakers, some of the people that we worked with would come here and work with us, like Critical Assignment. Michael Power.
Yes, I remember that.
We did a lot of work with them.
Oh.
I mean, the Ghana beat we shot here together and all that. So
Whoa, good stuff.
And by the time they leave you, you've learnt a lot.
Look, Ivan Quash has done a lot, honestly. And I tell you what, I've got tons of messages here for you. Yeah,
I'm trying.
This one from Flint. Flint says, "Very good storyteller you got there. The man behind our eye-opening adolescence." Thanks, champ. From Flint inside Lakeside Estate. Let's tell Ivan we love him and God bless him. Please ask him when YOLO is coming back on TV. And Deja Vu is a handwork. It's handwork too. I'm sending because it's ending tonight from Desmond Rain Dodoa.
Which one is that? I had a Deja Vu.
Which one is that?
No, I didn't.
You don't know about that. But when is YOLO coming back?
Well, I can't tell now. I mean, there's a lot of talk. There's a lot of demand for it, but I can't really tell.
You can't tell now. Ivan Rose says, please ask Bossman Ivan that. Between Pusha and Bibi, who killed the show?
Who killed the show? Like asking who did very well.
Yeah.
Everybody, they all did so well, because you would expect... BB couldn't have acted like Pusha, would he? The story wouldn't have been interesting. I remember firing somebody who came on set and did everything like Pusha. He came with his own handkerchief
And his own walk.
I said, what are we doing here? And I called him aside. Hey, this is not why I brought you here. He say, okay. Then when I say action, he will do it again. So I said, please get this guy off.
Oh, Lexus, a big shout out to Mr. Ivan Quash. He's an inspiration to our generation, a mentor, and above all, a great Kitasco boy. Jolali, now or never, from Elikem in Lakeside Estates. But I want to personally find out, who was your favorite on Things We Do for Love?
Wow,
You
want to kill me?
You pick one.
Well, I would choose the one that they all hate. Everybody hates. You know, they don't like Max.
Yes.
They don't like him at all. I've seen situations where some people passing by when we were shooting would, why are you like that? You are so bad. You allow your baby to talk to your sister, you know. Yeah, he showed that he did very well.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think he was one of the, they were all
Good
fantastic,
stuff.
but I think that he did very well.
Let's talk about Farmhouse Productions.
Yeah.
You did not obviously start it right after school. You worked with Lintas for a while, like you said, for 13 years in the creative and production departments before setting up Farmhouse Productions. Tell us about it. Share that experience with us, and also share some of the major products that you've worked on.
Well, you know, after Things We Do for Love and some of the productions, that it got to a point, you know, as a creative person, you wanted to do something, and also there are lots of changes in the industry, lots of new equipment and all that, and I wanted to be able to get my hands on some of those things. So I started, you know, Farmhouse. Actually, what happened was that I was a copywriter, radio, TV producer. At a point, they had to split the department. Copy. I ended up as a copywriter, and then there was then the producers were there, and all I was doing was writing the scripts, you know. So I had some time on my hands, because you go to work from 9 to 5, you know, nothing really was. The producer, sometimes we work till the next day, you know, but this one, nothing was happening. So I ended up going to Kishore's place. I don't know if you know of Kishore's place. Nankani Studios.
Okay, I know that.
Yeah, so Ramesh Jai, you know Ramesh, Apex, yeah. We were all going there because we had this digital editing machines there. So I started trying my hands on them, because I really need to be close to filmmaking. I wasn't just going to be a writer. So in my spare time, I was doing this and shooting for people on the weekends, because I have to keep myself busy. And I realized that I was also making money on it. And so I got some monies and started buying this few equipment here and there. So I would do my normal work, but on the weekends, I would go to Kishore's place, or in the nights, I would go do some work for Kishore, edit and all that. So bit by bit, my equipment stock grew up. And so I had like 2 cameras, I had lights and all these things, and even post-production equipment. Incidentally, your producer, Edem Naite, was one of my my staff. Yeah, so I had this equipment at home, and I was doing stuff at home. So they were students at NAFTI, and they also needed practice. So I said, why not come along? Let's shoot some stuff. So they were doing a lot of stuff for me, and I think one of your editors, head of editing, John Alassani, was also, you know, doing that in my office. So and your cameraman was Modestus. All those guys, all of them were there. So so that's how it wasn't really set out like it's supposed to be a company, but it got to a point that these PJs that we were doing, private jobs, we were doing, became things that you know, they say that if your hobby could become your profession, and I think it became something more serious, and we felt that why don't I leave and start it to make sure that I do it. It's
well structured and
well structured. So that is what gave birth to Farmhouse. At Farmhouse, what do we do? That's what you asked.
And some of the projects that you've worked on.
Well, you know, again, we were doing a lot of corporate work. So I do a lot of corporate productions like Hitmaker 1, 2, 3, where it was developed and produced from Farmhouse Productions. We're currently producing Heroes of Change.
Yeah.
We do a lot of work for MTN, where foundation and also the marketing department. We also do a lot of work for other agencies like the UNICEF, the FHI, USAID. In fact, YOLO was founded by USAID. And incidentally, Things We Do for Love was also founded by USAID. And so they have a hand in, you know, all the things
the projects that you do.
So most of those things were done. How many? I don't even, there's
a gazillion of them, I'm sure.
I can't even mention a lot of them.
So you've won over 20 local and international awards, including the prestigious Pan-African Film Festival, FESPACO, Ouagadougou 1993 award for the best short feature, and several awards as well for television and radio commercials, TV adverts of the year, TV programs, CIMG awards as well. You've directed several corporate and social impact documentaries, the award-winning serial drama Things You Do for Love as well. YOLO is now one of the biggest as well. You've won 7 out of 8 nominations. YOLO actually won awards at the Ghana Movie Awards as well.
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations, my man.
Thank you.
This is amazing. This is totally amazing. Lexus, I'm so excited listening to this interview. Mr. Ivan, I love your work. More grace. Just can't wait for YOLO to be back on TV. Please ask him how the name Farmhouse came about. From Betty. Betty wants to know how you came about with Farmhouse.
Because we worked with a lot of companies from South Africa, they came up with very interesting names. There was one called Barefoot Productions, and then there was another one called Gargantuan Films. I mean, these strange names. And one day I asked somebody, one of them, that why this name? And he said, you know, it's for conversation. You know, you mention the name of your company, and they are like, okay, it starts a conversation. Hey, what's the meaning? How did you come by that name?
Yeah.
And so you need to find something that can spark conversations. And so I thought about something that we could use, and when I explain, people would go, oh, wow.
Okay.
So you said Chief Ideas Farmer, right? So we farm ideas. We cultivate ideas, creative ideas.
Wow.
So in our farmhouse, we cultivate creative ideas. That is the meaning of farmhouse.
Man, that's totally awesome. That's a good one. Really good one. Well, Betty, you've got your answer now. Robert in Adabraka says, he sounds so humble. Keep it up. Ghana loves you. Ask him if I can get a full copy of Things You Do for Love to educate my kids. And that from Alex. Would he be able to get it?
It would be interesting. Yeah, you can. I think it's online.
It's online
YouTube.
already.
Yeah, people can get it on YouTube.
Okay, well, you can look it up.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that the kids would enjoy it. What do you think about the movie industry now? I mean, you've worked on lots of features. You've worked on... how has it changed?
Well, I mean... how we shoot films has changed dramatically. But the problems that our forebears faced are still there.
Like what?
Well, the difficulty in getting funds to produce your films.
Okay.
And then when you produce, how to get those the funds back. That is the main thing. But and it's so difficult. It's a main discussion that we've been having on all the platforms. Some of us, lots of people feel that we need to set up the National Film Authority. We need to set up all these structures for our film industry to be streamlined and for us to be able to work. Just before I came here, I was thinking, what can we do? What if Lexis asked me this question? How am I going to answer this question? There are people who even said, there are lots of people who are saying we need things like tax rebates to attract foreign film production companies. Some of the big films that were produced at Ghana Films Industry, like the Kukurantumi, the African Timber and all those Contact and all those old films that were shot were collaborations with big production companies coming from outside. And some of them, when they come, they leave huge equipment behind that help to improve the quality of our films. So I think that we need some form of it. If you go to other film production hubs across the world, South Africa, in Canada, in Georgia, in other places, you would find, the first thing you would realize is that the enabling environment was created by the government. And that includes the tax rebate that allowed these people to bring in funds to, because if you hear it, that this film was produced with $200 million. So you hear that. If even half of that comes to Ghana, won't we be happy? Do you understand? So really that is there. But on our Ghanaian production front, we produce mainly on very low budgets. And that too, it's a very, very difficult thing to do. You cannot really raise that much money to produce, because if you're asking for people to help, they would ask you, how will we get our money back? All our cinema houses have been turned into churches. So the Rex Cinema is now a church, Orion, all of them are churches. So nobody is able to show films like we were doing in the past. And so I was thinking that maybe we should think about using technology, because right now we put up YOLO on YouTube, and within 2 days we have over 200,000 people watching YOLO. So if we can use technology in a way, because viewing patterns are changing, if we can use technology in a way that can assure whoever is investing in the film that you can get your money back, and you can show by the numbers that if we put a film here, we put these characters in the film, this person has 4 million followers on social media, this person has this, these are people that can attract the viewers to your film, and we can scientifically prove that we can bring back your investment. I'm sure the banks will be begging us to invest in our industry. So really, I think we have to look at it from the end to the beginning, not from the beginning to the end. Like, you produce the film before you asking, how am I going to get the money back? But you have to ask yourself, how are we going to get the money when we produce the film? When you answer that question, then you can produce the film, and then you know how it can be done.
Amazing. You have an amazing family as well. I know you work with your wife.
Yes.
Which part of the farm is she?
She's at
is she harvesting or planting the seeds?
No, where they sell the wares, they collect the money.
How's it like working with your wife, Catherine? Is that?
It's sometimes it's fun. It's fun. Lots of people have been asking, but you need to understand why you are working together. You need to understand your objective. You need to know that you are working together because you want to, create. One, my work takes me away for long hours. Do you understand? If I'm shooting, I could go out from dawn till midnight. So it means that she's not around, But because we're working together, at least half of the time she would have been seeing me. So it's good. But
you don't want to let go of each other.
No. But what happened to that? When the kids were growing, she needed that flexible time in order to be able to go drop the kids at school and pick them up. So it was good for us to work together, because she could come in and go and pick the kids at the time that she likes. That no boss will be. She's the boss, my boss.
No, but I'm very sure it's not all that rosy. Well, what are the downsides of working together with your wife?
Okay. There are times that some clients are quite difficult, and sometimes when they speak to you in a manner, she wants to defend you,
and sometimes
you have the kind of work we do. You have to stomach a lot. You know you are right, but your client is talking, and you just have to keep quiet and let him talk. And for so many years, I've trained to keep quiet and listen. And insult them in my head. but she wants to tell them off quickly and go and get on with it. You understand? So those were some of the problems, but really it's nothing serious. Yeah.
Okay. And I know you have some adorable kids as well who are doing amazing things. Oh my goodness. No, you got.
I've 3 kids. The first one is called Kekeli, the boy, and then I have Fafali. She is in uni now, and then Kelly and Fafa are in uni, and then Lololi. I think you met Lololi.
She's been on my show.
She's the fashion designer.
Yes, already.
But they are all artists in a particular way, because Kelly is also a really great designer.
I see.
He designs stuff. In fact, I was looking at some of the things that he's done, and I was like, whoa. He could turn jeans into things that you can have. I mean, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And so he in his leisure time, those are things that he does. Fafali is into studying business administration, but recently I started painting. And also doing hair, painting hair for people.
Wow.
So I was like, whoa, so there's something there.
I mean, I love Lololi. She's an icon already.
Yes.
She has had her fashion shows.
Yes,
I've hosted her about twice on my show.
On your show, yeah.
And I think she's a gem, and she's going to be huge and big. Bright is asking if Anne in the series was your daughter.
Yes, that's Lololi.
Oh, that's
Lololi.
Okay. I see. Now, I had this very interesting question I'm going to ask you. Mr. Ivan, please, why was Pusha staring at Enyanam like that when they were eating the cake?
Which cake? Which one was that?
I don't remember. Is that, and why was the Kelewele woman talking
plenty?
Oh goodness. I mean, those were some really good times. Now, you've seen a lot. I mean, you've been through it all. You've handled campaigns, worked with young people. You've done campaigns as well to advise young people and all that. You've seen life in all its entirety. Do you have any advice for young people in probably the arts and those who are looking up to you?
Well, in the arts, I would say that you have to. Wow, have I ever thought about this? Really, young people. What I notice about young people these days is that they see the glitter. So I would say that it's not all that glitters is gold. Social media has even made it worse. So you would see somebody with so much followings and they had to do this, they had to do that. I would want them to, think about how you would want to be remembered and work towards it. I don't think that some of the people and some of the things that they are doing on social media now will be happy if those things are played back to them 15, 20 years down the line. So think about that time when you probably have your grandchildren or you have your children, and then some of the things that you do are put back in your face, or your grandchildren run to you, Mommy, did you actually strip, or did you actually do this? Those who want to go into the arts, think about what you want to achieve and work towards it. Find a mentor and study. There's no way you can just jump today and become a great person. Look at the life of Pusha. Look at the life of Jackie Appiah. And they've achieved huge success without us knowing so much about them. Somebody coughs today and he wants it on social media. It doesn't work, So they should be very, very careful. It's great to have social media, but it can be very, very dangerous too.
All right. Good stuff. What are you proudest of, Ivan?
My family. I have a great family. I have my wife, I have my kids, and I also have great siblings. And aunties, cousins. I love them.
Yeah.
I'm so proud to belong to them. And I'm also very proud of the little contribution I've made in the lives of some of the people. When I see them out there being successful, I know I've played a little role in their career, and I'm so proud. I feel so happy.
There's somebody cheering you at the back. Have a look and then say something about it.
Yeah, Alassani.
There you go.
Yeah.
You mentioned him earlier, so he had to cheer you on. Amazing stuff. And of course, you have Adam Naite as well.
Naite is there, yeah.
How was she when she was working with you?
Oh, she was really...
Release the files.
She was really good. I still remember her phone number.
She wasn't troublesome.
Because I call her anytime. When in the industry, when you make a mistake, you're working with me and you make, I go home and I can't sleep. So if I can't sleep, 2 a.m. you receive a call from
That's
me,
right.
and I'll tell you off.
Okay. You mentioned what you were proudest of. What are you not proud of?
Well, I wish that in fact, leaving Lintas and setting up Farmhouse Production was because I wanted to really go into full-time productions and do that. But the reality of the industry is not something that I've not been able to do what I really wanted to do.
Okay.
Like make a lot of movies and productions on TV and all that.
Is this still something you're going to do?
Of course. I mean, there are lots of scripts. I have some scripts that are like 10 years old that I want to shoot. But when you do the numbers now, I mean, you can't produce it. So, but we're looking.
But if you're able to produce and you need a native doctor, please
you
call
want
me.
to? Of course.
Just have to paint my face white and put some leaves on my head.
And start.
I can do that.
And start speaking in tongues.
Or if you want a killer. Oh wow, amazing. How would you want to be remembered, Ivan?
Maybe someone who really was passionate about what he wanted to do, or he did. He took his work seriously and made a difference in the lives of people, young people. Young people can say that because because of you, I've been able to be me. I've been able to reach where I want to reach, and so I'm very happy to lend myself, even if it's not professionally, like in terms of work. Someone approaches me, a young person approaches me, and I can help in any way. I like to do that. So, but because of YOLO, now I'm running because everybody wants to act, and it's difficult. I wish I could, but it's difficult.
What's your greatest fear?
So, wow, my greatest fear. Some people say my fear of failing, but it's also part of the learning curve. When you fail, you learn from it. You walk away with this thing. Not trying at all. My fear would be not trying at all. Knowing that this is what you want to do, but you sit there and want the right moment to come, and you leave till you die and not try. Jump in the pool. For me, that will be very bad.
Okay. Jigbody says, Uncle Ivan is my mentor and my best uncle. I'm always proud of him. May God lift him to higher heights in life. And I say amen to that. Ivan Farmer. Chief Farmer. Farmers Day, they need to give you an award.
I think so.
Thank you so much for spending time with us here on Personality Profile. It's been amazing. You have an amazing story, and Ghana is really proud of you. Continue, and I'm very sure the best is yet to come. Honestly, the best is yet to come. Thank you so much for spending time with us here on Personality Profile.
Thank you.
God bless you, Ivan.
Thank you very much.
There you go. And God bless the team at Farmhouse as well. You, Mrs. Catherine Kwashiga, my favorite Lola Lee, and your siblings as well. Yeah, Kekeli and Fafali. I'm Lexusville. Thanks a lot to my team.
You walked inside.
Junior former farmer Adam Naite Alassani. What's up, bro? Philip 9 Abeku Sankofi 704 from the farm. He said thanks a lot. We finished weeding. We're going to harvest now. Have a great evening, yeah.